They are taking over. Joe Brady is the brand new head coach of the Buffalo Bills, and he was introduced yesterday at the press conference. Now, I think the probably the more revealing stuff from the press conference was Josh Allen walking up on crutches. Turned out that he had gotten a procedure done on his foot. He had a broken foot, a broken bone in his foot that he re-aggravated in Week 16 against the Browns. And so Josh Allen showed up on crutches. Of course, they were asking him questions. Specifically, hey, man, what happened with the old Sean McDermott firing? And the Bills quarterback had this to say.
Very emotional. It was a time where, again, I'm sitting in my house. I wake up to a call from Mr. Pagola telling me that it's telling me what had transpired, and I called Coach McDermott immediately. And I've got nothing but love and respect for Coach McDermott. The last, 8 years of my life, he's been through ups and downs of me as a player, as a person. He's seen me grow up in a sense, and to know that, again, we've had a lot of success here. And I'd be lying to you if I'm sitting here saying that. I feel like I had part in it, because if I make one more play that game in Denver, we're probably not having this press conference right now. We're probably not making a change, and in all honesty, we're probably getting ready to play another game, and that's the hard part to take in from my perspective. But that's reality. It is what it is now, and I am very fortunate and thankful for Coach McDermott and everything that he's done and the trajectory that he's set here for our players.
Now, I don't know if you guys wanted to take turns apologizing, but I know both of you said that Josh Allen had gotten Sean McDermott fired a couple of days ago. So I didn't know.
No one said that. You might have said that. You might have been the one.
I walked us down that road alone. That's got to be. I always think about this. It's got to be a rough gig to have, that you're the star player. They're not going to get rid of you, but because of your performance, somebody might lose their job. Like, somebody might get paid and might get a raise and get a contract extension and all that, but ultimately somebody might lose their job if they feel like you've underperformed.
You don't think to fired.
No. The guilt that comes along with that, in all seriousness, has got to be a lot to deal with.
Yeah, but it wasn't his job. And you know what? They could have easily said, well, you know what? We're going to fire you because you didn't make those plays that he's talking about. I'm just more glad that he came out and said something in defense to at least make it maybe not as much of a conversation in terms of if he was being supported by Josh Allen, if this was a situation that maybe could have been stimulated in some way by maybe the comfort of Josh Allen with the new head coach. So a lot of times, if a guy doesn't come out and you don't hear a level of support, you know obviously the speculation will begin. But I thought that it was cool that he made it a point to maybe put it on himself as to which he's probably right. I mean, if he makes a couple more plays, I mean, who knows? They're still playing. Who knows what the future holds for them? But nonetheless, this is where they're at right now.
I mean, look, I always felt this way as a quarterback. Like, it's always tied to you. Whether it's a head coach, quarterback, whatever the case may be. One of you or both of you is getting clipped when things don't work out. And I remember being in college when Todd Willingham got fired. I took a lot of responsibility. You look at it, it feels awful. I mean, it's one of the harder things I think you have to go through as an athlete. Especially in college where you choose to go play for that coach. And he had taken a chance on me as a true freshman, and it's one of those things that it motivates you to never let something like that happen again. I remember talking to, I believe it was like Gary Kubiak back when he was the head coach of the Texans, and we were going through the combine process, and he had talked about the situation he was in. He was very blunt, said, look, they're expecting us to be able to bring in a quarterback to win right now and all this stuff. And I said to him, yeah, I've already been through this. I've had a coach who I went to go play for, that got fired. And, I think the tough thing for me was always we were so young my freshman and sophomore year, in particular on offense, that like we were going to be better our junior year anyway, just as we were able to kind of grow and mature. But there just wasn't as much patience for that. And, obviously Charlie Weiss came in. It was a system that was, in retrospect, probably much more suited to the things that I did well and all that. But I still always have like held that with me. It's one of those things where every time you see, Coach Willingham, you always feel like you kind of let him down. So it's tough. I mean, those are the things as a player that I think there's plays. I think there's moments throughout your career. And the crazy thing about this, again, just going back to Sean McDermott's, track record is like we're talking about plays that Josh Allen said, I wish I would have made in the AFC Championship. It's not like they had a losing season in the AFC Championship and they moved on from Sean McDermott. And VAR, you weren't here yesterday, but I just, you hear Joe Brady talk and you think back on the decision to hire Joe Brady, and it's like, what really has Terry Pegula done to make a difference? Like, McDermott's a good coach. Like if you had brought McDermott back for another year with Joe Brady obviously as the OC, and Brandon Beane's still obviously general manager and now even kind of elevated, I think you'd feel better about their prospects next year than with Joe Brady. Like now I've got a big question mark about the defense. Who's calling the defense? What does that look like? I mean, what's he going to be as a head coach? How is he going to manage things? What's his staff going to look like? There's so many questions that now go along with this, and it's like, what really is the expectation now? Because if McDermott's there, it's still going for a Super Bowl. With Joe Brady's there, you could say that's the expectation. However, in reality, it's like I have no idea how he's going to be as a head coach.
Yeah. There are a lot of questions that are left from it. But I think knowing that you have a Super Bowl roster, knowing that this was a very, very critical year for this team to make a run and for them not to do so. And then the hire, you didn't go outside of the walls for the hire. And I always say, and maybe I'm wrong for this, and you guys can tell me, but I always say, and I tread this one lightly because this just happened at Penn State, but my whole thing is if you're not winning or if you're not happy with how things are going with the current team that you have, what makes you think a guy from within is going to right the ship and make it better? It's like he's a part of that same coaching staff. And I guess you may say, well, if it's his system, if it's his way of doing things, maybe he's a coach that the players relate to a little bit more than the other guy, and you'll get better results. Maybe that's what it is. I just feel as though if you're not getting the results that you're wanting to get with what you have currently, how does that work with the interim head coach?
I mean, at least Penn State, because that's what I thought when they made the move. Like, well, you're gonna fire him after all the success he had, and I know there's the Pegula relationship and all, and the ties and connections to Penn State. But that one, at least I could understand that because, look, they were in a tailspin, Penn State was, and then they went outside the box to try and find somebody and ultimately landed on what, in all likelihood is a really good hire in Matt Campbell. This one, as Brady mentioned, it's not like they were the Ravens and they missed the playoffs with a Super Bowl roster. They literally were a play away from being in an AFC title game against a team they'd already beaten that year in the Patriots.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like that's a really, and, that game against Denver went to the wire, went into overtime. Like, there were some crazy, fluky plays, and it's almost like he didn't really take time to think about it. It was just, and if you really needed to take time to think about it and land it on Joe Brady, I get it. It felt like a rushed, reactionary decision in which Pegula even came out afterwards and said, I made the decision to fire him when I walked into the locker room. Man, after a game like that, it's probably like a morgue. Like we've been
Let
to funerals.
yourself calm down a little bit, huh?
We've been to funerals. Are you going to judge everybody based on how they react at a funeral?
Yes.
When you start making decisions.
Yes, I am.
Well, yeah, you. But
Yes.
I don't think Pegula was thong watching.
I mean, at least the one I saw at the funeral, I was going to judge. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like
that's correct.
I don't think.
And I think my assessment was pretty accurate.
Yeah, I don't think Pegula was thong watching, but he walks into.
I wasn't thong watching either.
He walks into Bill's
Don't
locker
you
room.
talk that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Hey, man, it was hard not to look at it.
It was just there.
He's got it.
In a room full of black, you see something else, another color, it just pops out.
Bam.
Bam. And so it's like I don't know how you come to the conclusion. Well, I know how you
Poor
did.
timing.
I don't know how you get to the conclusion.
There you go.
That hey, we got to move on after seeing that. At least take a step back. At least take a step back and realize, all right, let's look at totality of things. Our quarterback broke his foot, was playing on that. That might have impacted the way that he played and performed. And there was a lot of fluky things, including an awful call by the officiating crew, and then you decided to fire him. That's why I look at this whole thing and I go, good luck, man. If anything, this makes me be more skeptical that the Bills are back in this spot again next year based on how the offseason's already started.
I'm going to take this a step further. If Penn State doesn't become what I think people are hoping for, and Pegula was involved with that, and if the Bills can't replicate at least even what they had with Sean McDermott, if not getting to a Super Bowl and doing more, it's on his hands, man. It's on his hands.
Well, I don't know about all of that.
Why not?
Because I don't. But
because you know him, and you guys are close, and that whole thing. And we get it, and we're not asking you to say anything. That's where Jonas and I stand.
Okay.
All right?
I don't have any problems with what you guys are saying.
It's Pegula or us.
And I'm going to stand on it. Okay. 10 toes down.
I mean, I think you should.
I mean, I don't know how else you would stand on anything without 10 toes down. That's what I've never understood about that.
Well,
phrase.
some people, my dad doesn't have any toes, and he puts them down. He puts 10
That's
wood.
That's different.
Put 10 wood
but
down.
But proverbially, if he had toes, they would be down if he was standing.
That is true. Yes.
Yeah.
Like everyone who's standing on it has 10 toes down. Like what else?
I mean, that puts it in a little perspective, though.
Can we just recap exactly what we got into this segment? LaVar's health.
Yes.
A funeral.
Yes.
Wooden legs.
Yes.
That thong, the thong, thong, thong.
And a firing.
Yes.
A lot of positive conversation.
And finger pointing. Don't forget finger pointing. Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't forget finger pointing.
It's just, all right, well, good luck, Bills. Good luck with all that. I mean,